I'm going to talk to you today about is tomato blight. Now it's the time of year where it starts to come out. September is usually, sometimes you get it in August, but the temperatures and the weathers that tomato blight likes are humid conditions but very wet as well, or damp. Now we have had that in the last sort of couple of weeks. And since the kids have been back to school, I've been going down the allotment every day, and I noticed a couple of days ago it had started. Once it starts, it will take hold, and that's it. If you don't do these next few steps, that are things I'm going to suggest to you, then the whole of your crop will be ruined. Okay, I've brought one of the plants home so I can show you what to look out for. Well, I brought this tomato plant home, and I don't know if you can see, but there are brown patches. It's green, and then all of a sudden you get a brown patch here, and then it goes back to green again. It's actually easier to see up there. Can you see that little brown line there? Hopefully you can. Now that is the first signs of tomato blight. Okay, if you manage to miss these little bits, these little brown marks, you'll also notice on your tomatoes that, hang on, let me put that down, that, can you see this little bit here? It looks a bit like a bruise. Okay, the tomato is turning, so it is a little bit tricky to see, but you can see it orange here, and then it sort of, it looks a bit like a bruise. It's a bit darker there, and then it's light again. Okay, that is tomato blight as well. Okay, now what it does is it starts on the plant and gradually works its way up all the way along the plant, all the way to all the little branches, and then all the way to the ends, and eventually it'll work its way to the tomato. Now can you see this one here? Can you see it's gone very brown at the end? It's green and then it goes brown, and this is where the tomato was, not the one I've just picked, I don't think. And once it's got to this bit here, this little bit at the end where it joins the tomato, then the tomato will get it. If you cannot see any signs of it on the tomato, if it's got to these little green bits, then it will get it. Now what you need to do is you need to go and check every single day, okay? And if you see it on any of the plants at all, take that plant up straight away. If you notice it's on several in the same area, you're going to have to take all the plants up. But fear not, you haven't wasted all your tomatoes. What you need to do is you need to pick all the tomatoes that are on the plant, and you need to then bring them home, and then you can ripen them at home. Okay, now the tomato plant, the infected ones, don't put in the compost heap, because they will spread that disease round your compost heap, and when you put that compost back on your garden or on your allotment, then it will just transfer it there. So you can either burn them or you can take them straight down the tip and get them to do it there, because when they do all that sort of stuff, then they burn the stuff, and they do it very hot, so that would kill it. But don't put them in your compost heap. Okay, so I spent most of the morning collecting all my tomatoes, and I just want to show you how you can then ripen them at home. Now this is just one box. I do have another container of loads. I haven't picked them all because I've run out of time and I was getting very hungry. So I've picked all the tomatoes. Some of them are just turning. Some of them have actually turned. So I'll put those in the fridge and we'll eat them. But a lot of them are green. So it doesn't necessarily matter which size they are. Obviously, if they're tiny like this, then it's a bit pointless to actually save them. But if you want to, then do. If you notice, I need to take this one off because it started. I don't know if you can see this. It's very difficult to see. It started to go a bit brown there, so I am going to take this one off and throw that one away because I don't want it to infect the rest. But what I might do is actually take all of these tomatoes off just like that and so that they don't have their little green bit on top, and just ripen them like that. Now, when you've got your tomatoes, the way to ripen them at home is very, very simple. All you need is a tray, and all you do is you put your tomatoes on the tray, okay? Now, don't overfill it, just have one layer, okay? Make sure there's little spaces in between, all right? I will take all these bits off. And then when you've filled your tray up, all you need to do is to get a tea towel and pop it over the top, like that. And then you put that, I'm going to put mine on top of the kitchen cupboards. You need to put them somewhere frost-free, but that gets a little bit of natural light, and just check them every couple of days, and any that have started to turn and that are ready to eat, then take those, remove those. Any that you notice, I mean, have a good look through them. Any that you notice that have got the signs of the blight on, that maybe they'll have a sort of a little bruisey bit. It usually starts up the top here, where the little green bit is. Usually starts up around here and then gradually moves over the tomato, and then eventually they look awful, and you can't eat them, they're horrible. So just check them every couple of days. Now, some of you may well have noticed on one that I did show you, that it was the one with blight, that it actually had, this is a different one, that it's got a line here. Okay, now don't worry about this line. If you want to cut this line out when you eat it, then do. But there's nothing wrong with it. All it is because when it was outside and we had loads and loads of rain and it had so much water that it burst. This one did burst. So he's having a little smiley face there, showing all his nice seeds. Just be careful that it doesn't go, because it's tempting to go, it may well go a little bit mouldy round there, okay? So just cut that little bit out if it does, and then eat the tomato. And they taste so much better when you've grown them yourself, because they're picked when they're ready, okay? Now, I just want to show you these two. I did chuckle when I saw these. They were quite sweet. I'm growing all sorts of different types of tomatoes. These ones, they look a bit like beefsteak. I'm going to show you this one first, okay? And it does look, it's either one that was very wide and then joined together, because you can see the green bit in here. Okay, so that's one of them, but that's not the most bizarre one I pulled today. I think this would kind of class as the most bizarre one. That's where it was joined, and I think there's about 3 there that have joined together. Oh look, you can see it better on this side here, because you've got one here, one there, and one there, and you've got all these little green bits in there. So it shouldn't be called Claire's Allotment, it should be called Claire's Bizarre Fruit. But yes, I'll look forward to that one changing, so that'll be interesting. Anyway, I hope you found that useful, but do keep a watch out for blight, because it will spread incredibly quickly. If you get it and you don't do anything about it, it would have gone through all your plants within a week to 10 days. There is stuff that you can spray on them. Dithane is a very good one, but basically you need to do it from the beginning of the season. If when the tomatoes go out it's wet, then spray it. But because in June it was absolutely beautiful, and I thought, oh good, we won't have it this year. But there we go, the British weather, and it always changes. Anyway, look after your tomatoes, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye bye.